training last year. After the end of the 06 season, his shoulder sublux, there was shoulder fatigue, it popped out of the socket, and they talked about making him a starter. In fact, he was a starter mainly in the minor leagues for the Red Sox, and their intent last year when they came to spring training was to have Jonathan Paplebon start.
Yep. And they talked about that to protect his arm, and that the regimen of a starter would be a little easier, not the fatigue of having to get up and pitch multiple days in a row. But with the signing of Josh Beckett, he comes on, and Kurt Schilling's health, and the rotation looked like it was going to be fine, and the bullpen looked like it wasn't going to have an anchor. They made a late move to put him back in the bullpen. What a great move that was.
If memory serves correctly, I think that they actually had Joel Pinheiro, and they were looking at him as possibly closing. And
yes,
eventually they went back to Paplebon. In fact, Paplebon went to Francona and really made it clear that that's what he'd like to do.
Well, he pitched well in the spring as a starter. There wasn't going to be a success problem. We just thought the team, the way the whole spring had gone, and all the question marks in the media and the evaluation of the team, that's where he would be best used, and that's what he loved to do. There's a maturing, not only for an everyday player, but for a pitcher in the big leagues, of how to take care of your body and lifestyle issues. Not good and bad to evaluate somebody's lifestyle, but things that you have to be exposed to and decide whether to do or not. I've got enough money now to go eat out every night. I don't need to go back to the hotel room and get my rest. Or I've got, this person in town, and a lot of family follow me around because of the hoopla. I'm now in the big leagues, and I need to see that person. And some of those boundaries that you have to start to put up, I'm sure Jonathan started to do because of the fame and the things of what happens with the Boston Red Sox nation. And I think last year he really started to realize how much work it is to get through a big league season and all the things that are pulled at you. And that rest and taking care of his body, it really was able to finish it off and go back into that role as closer.
He is about as good as it gets. Here's the 1-2.
And there's off-the-field issues that are even around positive things. I mean, access to golf courses, and everybody wants to take you out, and so many people want to see you down in the lobby, and there's an extra 45 minutes of conversation before you get up to go to your room and start to gear down there. I mean, it's not just about off-the-field issues of, a negative that we hear so much about in the media sometimes when players fall. It's also the positive things that come around that can take your time and energy.
Yeah, there are positive things that distract, no doubt.
Well, yeah, your family, having enough money that your family can travel and come on the road with you, and the wife can fly commercial and join the team, and then, she would love to go shopping that day, and why don't you get up and come with me, and different things that are very positive that you want to have go on. You want to have enough money to have your family around, but they do pull at you, and sometimes it's easier on the road as a Major League Baseball player to get into your rut. And to know when you eat and to know when you rest, and that's what you do, and that's what I do. I'm a baseball player.
Now here at City Pops Park in Fort Myers, Florida, as the Blue Jays and the Red Sox go head-to-head. Blue Jays on top by a run. John Shambi and Oral Hershiser. It's been an interesting day here in Fort Myers. The start of this one delayed by a little over an hour. Red Sox will be heading to Japan at the conclusion of this game. Flight scheduled for about 5:30 Eastern time. Eric Nielsen just spoiling pitch after pitch and hanging in against Paplebon. There was a dispute, however, between the Red Sox players and Major League Baseball over compensation for both the coaches and the staff members for the Red Sox. Mike Lowell, we talked to him. The Red Sox players were under the impression that the coaches and staff would be paid. And then this morning, they found out that was not the case. And so the Red Sox players said, we will not play today. We will not go to Japan until this situation is resolved. It has been resolved, but it took about an hour delay to this one with the Red Sox players. They wanted to make sure that everything was taken care of. And as Jason Varitek said, we got to take care of those guys because they take care of us.
And I think when it all comes out in the wash, that a lot of people around Major League Baseball will be very proud of the world champions, the way they stuck together for the people around their organizations that support them and actually do a lot of work behind the scenes and out in front of us, throwing batting practice to coaches, different things.
Everything ready. All the fans are ready to say goodbye.
That reminds me right there just of the Dodgertown being closed. That's about as close as the fans could get all around Dodgertown, and only the fact of a little yellow rope that would hold them back and say this is the divider, but you could be throwing your side work, and Sandy Koufax could be talking to me. Johnny Padres, Roy Campanello, God bless his soul. All the different people that have come through Dodgertown. Now the last year the Los Angeles Dodgers were training here. Tom Minnesota, one of the last to leave the field there. Carl Erskine played the national anthem at Dodgertown on his harmonica. First guy to throw a pitch at Dodgertown. The last guy to walk off the field there.
I'll tell you a guy who was not interested in seeing the Red Sox leave for Japan, and that's Eric Nielsen right there. A 12-pitch at bat for Eric Nielsen.
The scrappiness that John Gibbons talked about, some of the world championship pedigrees that they have brought in, this at bat, kind of portraying that. It's kind of grit and determination going to take from the Blue Jays to try and catch the Red Sox or the Yankees.
Captain Jason Varitek caught Daisuke Matsuzaka. Runner on the go and the throw into center field. Sal Fasano with a stolen base. How about that?
Sal's got a little adrenaline running through him right now after getting plugged by Jonathan Paplebon's 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Sure, he needed to run off some of the pain.
Here in the ninth with the Blue Jays up by a run.
Always that interpretation of how should we play in spring training. We saw that with the Yankees in the Tampa Bay double race. You know, sliding or knocking a catcher over, you know, causing injury or trying to avoid possibly hurting somebody. Stealing in a 4-3 game with Jonathan Paplebon on just to get his work, or staying at first base. And the internal, you know, we can talk about all we want up here, but when you're down there in the locker room or in the bench, I'll tell you what, there's just as many opinions there. There is no answer.
The 3-2. Eric Nielsen with a 15-pitch at bat, and it ends in the strikeout for out number one.